Yippee-ki-yay, Father Christmas.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to Pop Culture Problems. We'll see you next time. Oh, we still have a long time left, don't we?
We do. We have a
this is
long...
going to be, ladies and gentlemen, the fight of the century. I mean, you could think of any battle royale, anything at all. I thought that the John Oderman, Josh Nichols throwdown about like sports versus not sports, or any of the other things that we've argued about over the years, but this will be the thing that people remember us by. Because people are always remembered post-mortem, and one of us isn't making it out of here. I just know it. Deep in my heart.
This is a brutal cage match.
Ladies and gentlemen, the theme today is proving that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. That is just...
Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
No, it is not a Christmas movie.
Yes, it is.
It's not. It's not. Okay, John, I've had this argument at least 5 times now. And
you've lost all 5 times?
No, I'm going to give you my stance.
Okay.
I'm going to give the American public and the world and the aliens listening via tinfoil helmets, wherever they might be located, what I believe are the appropriate responses to whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie. And then I'm going to let you rebut any of them. I'm going to just remain silent. I'm going to let you kind of chime in on each of them. I think that you can have one of 3 options and possibly an and or scenario. Possibly. Those are the exceptions. Number 1, you can have a movie that is a Christmas movie. It centers around typical Christmas themes. It involves Santa Claus. It involves religion or spirituality. It involves family and non-commercialism and how Christmas is about more than gifts and that kind of theme and about different things of that nature. That's one category. The second category is a movie that takes place at Christmas. It is not a centralized plot regarding Christmas. It doesn't follow the typical tenets. And as much as you want to try to stretch and taffy putty pull the plot, it wasn't intended to be a Christmas movie, and it just happens to take place during the Christmas time. And then the third option is a movie that, for occult reasons or otherwise, is a movie that people watch at Christmas. So, for instance, I'm going to give you an example of each.
Okay.
1, I might say that I watch, Nightmare on Elm Street every Christmas. I happened to watch it one Christmas. It came on TV real late during the holiday season. We didn't have anything else to watch. We watched Nightmare on Elm Street, and we've watched it every year since. It is a Christmas tradition. That is the first category. Second category, a movie that takes place at Christmas. It could be any movie that takes place at Christmas. I put Die Hard in that category. I would put Batman Returns in that category. I would put many movies in the category.
Both Christmas movies.
Of it just... Let me finish. Okay. Of it just taking place at Christmas. And the third would be the quintessential Christmas movie, something that people would almost undisputedly call Christmas. And I know that you're going to dispute some of them, but like How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, The Santa Claus, lots of movies that are primarily and hyperly focused on multiple Christmas elements and having it take place around the holiday time in a costume movie of sorts with Christmas attire or generally focus on Christmas.
I'm gonna take the old you can't prove a negative type of thing here. I'm gonna take that stance because I feel like you are trying to lay down rules on what is and what is not a Christmas movie. I think the first 2 that you outlined, what you would call a Christmas movie and then a movie that is set at Christmas, I think there's a very gray line there. The third one, that's like the traditional movies that you watch at Christmas. I would say, yeah, okay, those aren't Christmas movies. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I have a question for you. How do you feel about Elf?
Okay, so I know the rabbit hole you're trying to bait me into here. So I'm going to bite so that we can get this out in the open. But I'm going to say that Elf has Christmas elements to it in the way of costumes, characters, etc. There are elves, there's Santa Claus, there's reindeer, I believe, at the beginning. etc. There's Christmas stuff. It takes place at Christmas. So it does take place at Christmas, but it has Christmas music and Christmas themes. And it's about Christmas being about more than just the gifts, etc., which Buddy the Elf was very much, ooh, Christmas, toys, and we need to make this stuff. It was about family. It was about love. It was about everything. It had a very Christmas-centric theme. The main character was not an elf, but technically an elf. And so I felt it met more criteria than a Die Hard.
What's the main storyline in the movie?
That Christmas
No.
isn't just about gifts.
BS. It's about a man
Okay.
trying to have a relationship with his father. It's a romantic comedy
okay.
with Buddy and with Zooey Deschanel's character. It is, to me, like, if we're going to draw these lines and say these things, in Die Hard, there's a family element. He's calling his wife. They're getting back together. There's Christmas there's Christmas music in Die Hard. There's Christmas elements in Die Hard. There's Christmas trees. There's Santa hats. There's all these different things, these different elements that make it a Christmas movie that you just outlined with Elf.
And you know what? I'm going to say for a second, John, and let me get this sentence out.
Okay.
That you're right, John. And that I am willing, in the spirit of Christmas, to compromise with you and say that Elf is equally much not a Christmas movie as Die Hard, and both are simply movies that take place at Christmas. I will compromise and say that Elf is in fact a movie that takes place at Christmas, just like Die Hard, and that neither are Christmas movies. Thanks for that. I'm glad we're compromising. That's awesome. You're right, John. You're right. Both of them are not Christmas movies. Barrel into the show. That's just period. Done. I mean,
see, but the argument I'm making though is that they're both Christmas movies.
I literally compromised with you and agreed with you, and you're going to have the unmitigated gall to try to now go a step further to prove me wrong. What is this about Christmas that you hate so much, me?
I don't know what you hate about Christmas, because my argument is that they're both Christmas movies.
So
Home Alone is a Christmas movie. I think
So you were tricking me or being a liar? And you were manipulating me?
I think the manipulation was you compromising with me here.
I'm compromising and saying you're correct that both are not.
I didn't say both were not.
You said that
I was saying if Elf is a Christmas movie, so is Die Hard.
And that's why I said it's not. And so it meets your logic, and now both aren't.
But
you said if it's not, and so I agreed.
You made the argument that Elf was.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, and again, I was wrong, and you were right. I just said it.
You're being manipulative now.
Okay, here's the thing, John. I'm going to use an example, and it's a funny example, I think. But I'm just going to use it to illustrate a point. When I go to take a poop,
okay,
I take a poop.
Yeah.
Period.
All right.
It's a natural bodily function.
Yep.
I go to the bathroom, I deal with what I need to do. If I'm wearing a Santa hat whilst taking that poop, it doesn't make it a Christmas poop. I'm just taking a poop.
What would make it a Christmas poop?
It doesn't. I don't know that there is anything that would turn it into that. If
some sprinkles, some garland.
If I had a fireplace in my bathroom, and when I sat down, Santa flew overhead, dropped a present down the chimney in the way of a squatty potty, and their Christmas music and chimes started to play, I would possibly concede that it was a little bit more magical than a normal movement. But other than that, I don't think there's anything that would make that happen. And you made a good point our last episode.
I think that makes it a Christmas poop.
Okay. I think that I would agree. That would be something magical, but I don't think that those same elements were in Die Hard. You made a great point the last episode. You started talking about Rudolph, because we were talking about favorites and traditions and such. And you said, well, would you watch Rudolph, or would it be a favorite, or would you be into it if it was not set around the holidays, or it wasn't Christmas themed, if it wasn't wintertime, it wasn't at Santa's workshop? Like, Rudolph,
it's a defining element of the character, yeah.
It goes to an African safari, or Rudolph, saves something not Christmas related.
Rudolph saves the Amazon.
Rudolph saves the Amazon. It wouldn't be a Christmas movie. It wouldn't be a Christmas movie because it doesn't have those general tenets of Christmas. And I'm just wondering, and again, I know that you're going to throw this back and say, well, yeah, but I could say the same to you. But I'm just asking your opinion and not to throw back that example. What harm is it, which again, you could say the same for me, what harm is it for you to say Die Hard's a movie that takes place at Christmas? Or Die Hard is a movie that I watch as a Christmas tradition every year, and not saying Die Hard is a Christmas movie? Why is that a hard, fast rule and a hill that you're willing to die on?
Because Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
But why do you take that stance?
Because it is.
If it's not defined as a Christmas movie, what does that change the world? Like, what is it that's so significant that you would die? I mean,
it doesn't change. It wouldn't change the world that if we said A Christmas Story isn't a Christmas movie. It wouldn't change the world, but it would change the fact that it's a Christmas movie. Just like saying Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie is changing the fact that it is a Christmas movie.
It is a movie that takes place at
You
Christmas.
are flying in the face and spitting in the face of truth.
Okay. Let's.
Why do you hate truth?
Here's the thing. I've been in many arguments before, and so have you, John. And usually, you and I have to fight 10 times harder than the average person to win an argument because the women in our lives somehow are always right. And I don't know how it works. So you and I are used to You and I are used to battling. So let's start with what we can agree upon.
That Sarah and I are right.
Wow, that Sarah's my girlfriend. Let's just agree on some things we agree upon. Would you agree that Die Hard takes place at Christmas?
Yes.
Correct. It takes place at Christmas.
Sure.
That is true.
Okay.
Elf takes place at Christmas.
Yes.
Batman Returns takes place at Christmas.
Yep.
Rudolph takes place at Christmas. So those movies take place at Christmas.
Okay.
So we can agree on that. So I think, why not go with what we agree with? And why take it a step further and argue during this magical season to say you're wrong and I'm right about the other stuff? Let's just agree to disagree and just agree that Die Hard is a movie that takes place at Christmas.
Sure, we can agree on that.
There we go. That's all I was saying at the very beginning.
No, that's not all you. That's not all you were saying. That's not all you were saying at the beginning.
You can infer what you want, but Die Hard is a movie that takes place at Christmas. You just said
but what I said at the beginning is that those two first categories that you outlined to me are the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess
to me there's just like the music, just like Christmas music. There's Christmas music. And there's non-Christmas music. There's Christmas movies. There's non-Christmas movies. Silent Night, Deadly Night is a horror movie and a Christmas movie.
See, I don't believe that. Krampus is not a Christmas movie.
Yes, it absolutely is. Krampus is absolutely a Christmas movie. Just because it's a horror movie does not make it any less a Christmas movie.
I think it does, because I think...
What about Scrooged? With Bill Murray.
Definitely a Christmas movie. Because it is like an adaptation of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. Which Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol, you could probably argue, is one of those quintessential Christmas movies.
Sure.
And Scrooge is a modern day adaptation of that. It follows the same tenets. It just has a little bit different comedy because it's Bill Murray.
Okay, well, Krampus is a long-standing Christmas tradition and story. So it's a Christmas movie. It's older than A Christmas Carol.
Okay, so let me define it this way then. When I think Christmas movie, I think, and I know you're going to try to come up with an example to combat this. Just hear me out. In general, I'm saying. I'm not saying it is the same in every case.
You think I'm so confrontational. You just think I'm a contrarian.
A family-friendly movie with some sort of a moral element to it at the end, or a lesson or something like that. And I think most movies that I can name, Rudolph was going to save Christmas. He was an underdog. Now he saved it. The importance of people at first value and first impressions. It's a Wonderful Life. Oh, the world wouldn't be good without me. Oh, it would be good without you. And Christmas is a miracle. Ooh, okay. Like, all these movies have some sort of kind of a theme at the end that are, Christmas is really good. I've not seen Krampus. I can only imagine there's a lot of blood and carnage.
I haven't seen Krampus either.
There's probably a lot of blood and carnage, and I'm assuming at the end there's not like, gosh, we learned that we should not evoke the demons of Christmas. And I
think the message is a quintessentially Christmas one. You want to be on the nice list, not the naughty list. What brings families together more than being terrified while watching a movie on the couch?
Okay, I've got it. Here's how we're going to play this game, you dirty minx. John, you have a new baby girl.
I do.
Her name is Maggie.
Yes.
Okay? So I'm going to run down a list of movies that you are going to watch with her when she is 5 years old at Christmas. Okay?
Okay.
Here's what we're going to do. So we're going to have Krampus. We are going to have Rudolph, the claymation classic. We're going to have How the Grinch Stole Christmas. You choose live action or regular. We're also going to choose a hardcore porno where they happen to have, candy canes and Santa hats on. And Die Hard. Now, I want you to tell me of that list, which one are you going to let her watch at 5 as a family tradition with wholesome Christmas? No, you step back, sir. You answer my question, and then you can say whatever you want. But you list to me those movies right now of what you're going to let your 5-year-old daughter watch. And
in order, or
yeah, I just need you to separate which one when she is 5. Dear sweet lovable Maggie,
Rudolph.
Are you good? Okay, and then so tell me the ones you let her watch. Rudolph.
Yeah, The Grinch.
Okay,
and then the other 3. If she wants to watch them, she can watch them when she's older.
Why? Why when she's older? See, for me, a Christmas movie is like something that can be watched as a family that's wholesome and has those elements. I love Batman Returns. Batman Returns is one of my favorite Batmans. I think it's great. But
see, I wouldn't
that
watch.
Movie
But
takes place at Christmas. The whole theme and premise is not Christmas.
Disagree.
Focused.
What did Jesus come to Earth for? Jesus is the reason for the season. He came to save us from our sins. Batman just came to Gotham City to save the people of Gotham City.
So,
Batman is basically a Christ figure in Batman Returns.
So, I think that I don't want to get in specifics of your career, but I think that you have a Catholic-centric position.
Yeah. Okay.
So I want you to explain this to your supervisor in great detail. I want you to explain how Batman is the second coming of Christ.
I didn't say that. I said he was. I said he was.
Oh, it's just
said
symbolic.
he was. Symbolic. Yeah. I didn't say he was Christ. I said he was symbolic.
And is the Penguin Judas?
Sure.
And Michelle Pfeiffer is Mary Magdalene? I don't know.
But Josh, that's the great thing about art, is that meaning can be derived in a lot of different ways by a lot of different people. And what I'm saying throughout this entire conversation is that what it really comes down to is what is in your heart. And in my heart, and in the hearts of millions of other Americans worldwide,
Krampus, the horror movie.
Die Hard is a Christmas movie. And I'm just asking you to open your heart and let it grow to the size that it needs to grow for Die Hard as a Christmas movie to fit inside of it.
My category.
And I'm sorry that you're going to be such a Grinch about this.
Category.
And you're going to bring in all these ridiculous examples, these hypotheticals. There's a lot of ridiculousness that's taken place here the last 19 minutes. And I'm just trying to bring us back to common sense and the Christmas spirit that John McClane embraced so well in Die Hard.
John, I'm gonna say that I think that there is nothing wrong with you loving Die Hard. I don't think there's anything wrong with you loving Die Hard and watching it every December 25th. I don't think there's anything wrong with the whole of America making a float at the Macy's Day Parade and having it tour the nation every day after that until Christmas hits, celebrating Die Hard. And I don't care if they make a Die Hard Christmas musical and we all celebrate it on Broadway every December 25th. But by saying that it is a movie that is about Christmas and not a Christmas movie should not take away the fact that you can enjoy it whenever you want and you can feel the way you want about it. I'm just saying that the fact that I can agree upon that is true is that it's a movie that takes place at Christmas. I can agree upon that. I can agree that that is the case. I don't agree that it is a Christmas-centric movie, just like Krampus or the hardcore pornography. I just can't. I can't put that. Well, but you said.
I love how you're like putting words in my mouth.
No,
but
no,
like,
you didn't say
come on.
hardcore porn. You said the Krampus horror movie was a Christmas movie.
Sure.
And again, I don't agree with that. And so, agree to disagree. I will cut this audio so that the segment about you agreeing that it is a movie that takes place at Christmas is the only thing that people hear. It'll be a very short episode, but I'll be right. Maybe you should take a bigger role in editing.
I agree.
And I'm going to take that I agree, and I'm going to put it after everything
that you say.
I think
agree.
This is a Christmas movie. I agree. I agree. John, it's okay for you to like what you want to like. That's fine. I'm just saying that it just seems petty to argue over it. And I'm not arguing over it. The reason that I get into this argument is because I think that your side of this argument has taken a stance. When you have internet memes that say, until this guy's thrown off the top of the building in Die Hard, it's not Christmas yet. And I understand the joke because they feel that Die Hard, because it takes place at Christmas, it's a movie that takes place at Christmas, they've, in a cult classic fashion, have decided that this movie is a quintessential Christmas movie, which I don't agree that this is on par with It's a Wonderful Life, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Rudolph the
Well,
Red-Nosed
of course,
Reindeer.
there's degrees of everything, though.
Well, exactly. And because it's not to that degree, because I feel like it's a fad movie. I feel like if people decided to watch Krampus, the horror movie, at Christmas, it wouldn't be because it's a Christmas movie. It's because it's like an anti-Christmas
It might
movie.
make you a terrible person.
Well, yeah, but it makes it. It's because it's not a typical Christmas movie, and it's because it's an atypical, in my opinion, non-Christmas movie that people find it interesting, funny, or kind of outside conformity to like it as a Christmas movie.
My argument would be that if you're really looking at like the traditional Christmas themes and things like that, there are few movies that outside of like Miracle on 34th Street, ones that like Santa is like the main character, that would be more Christmas than Krampus. Can you see that argument at least? Because Krampus and Santa are like in a lot of cultures are like intertwined. Like they go hand in hand. So I would say that outside of movies that have like Santa as like the main character, Krampus has got to be considered a Christmas movie.
See, I disagree. It's not a movie that you're going to watch with your daughter.
Well, of course you're not.
Tradition.
No, yeah,
I know.
Sure.
I know. I'm not saying that you're wrong in that fashion by not letting your daughter watch it. I'm just saying that you're not going to do that. Which
I just want to clarify. I'm right. I'm correct in not letting my daughter watch it.
I would agree.
Yeah, before she moves out of my house.
I think in general. There are a lot of actual Christmas movies that she could watch instead.
Yes.
That would build better traditions. And in fact, I think that if you're waiting until your daughter's 18 to establish Christmas traditions with her, then I think that means you're a bad parent. So why not start with actual Christmas movies? Like the aforementioned mini that we've talked about that you could have instead of the movie that you were getting on a soapbox for to prove that it's a Christmas movie so that you feel like a bigger man.
That has nothing to do with me feeling like a man.
It must.
It doesn't.
Because it's a hill you're willing to die on. Literally, we've moved from me agreeing with you and saying that it's not a Christmas movie just like Elf was. I've moved to saying that I can agree with the fact that it's a movie that takes place at Christmas, but not a Christmas movie, that you agreed with, and we agree to disagree on the other. And it's just, you keep coming back because you keep saying, I'm right, you were wrong, it's a Christmas movie, and if you don't like it, you can lump it. And that's just, here's the thing, this podcast is not a Christmas podcast because it does not follow the tenets of love and friendship and family that I think any classic Christmas movie or episode should have.
But Josh, I think it does. Because when this is all said and done, we're still going to love each other.
Yeah,
we're still going to be friends. We're still going to be friends. And to me, there's nothing more Christmas than that. Forgiveness and love.
Dead air. I can swim in just the unchristmas nature that you've thrown at me. Just the hypocrisy.
Hypocrisy? Where's the hypocrisy?
Just because I can see that you're saying these things and it's not truly from your heart. You're just saying it to try to prove some sort of a point, John. I just watch Die Hard. Go for it. But here.
See, but like Die Hard isn't a Christmas tradition for me.
Then why is it such a big concern for you? Like, why is this an argument that you couldn't agree to disagree on? Like, why is it so important? Did someone who didn't like Die Hard wrong you?
Why can't you agree to disagree on it?
I didn't start this argument. Facebook started the argument with all these memes that say Christmas hasn't started unless this happens.
See, I disagree. I disagree with that. I disagree with the Christmas hasn't started until Hans Gruber falls to his death.
They didn't actually mean that. It was satire saying that is a Christmas movie. Which, again, you create memes and satire because something's not true and it's funny to say that it is true. That's a lot of what satire and memes are built on, is something that's kind of overly ridiculous, stereotypical, or is basically a parody of itself.
Do you think that the majority of the people who think Die Hard is a Christmas movie, it's just like kind of a...
It's a cult classic.
It's like a hipster thing?
Yes! It's a non-conformity thing. Again, I could start a trend right now to say...
I feel like so many people feel this way that the non-conformists have become conformists.
I think that there's a smaller percentage of people that feel that way than most people. I don't know the data on that. 48% of statistics are inaccurate anyway, probably including the one I just said. So I think you should probably err on the side that the amount of people living, let's just say in this country, because we probably have more media consumption, have not seen Die Hard. Because it's a movie made, 3-4 decades now? Yeah.
In the 80s, yeah.
Okay,
80s.
In the 80s. So it's like 30 to 40 years old, right? 30 years, let's say.
30 years old.
Okay, I have to look.
I think it was 87, 88, or 89, yeah.
So 30 years
Late
old.
80s.
It's a 30-year-old movie. So a lot of people probably have not seen it. A lot of people probably don't consider it a Christmas movie because, one, it does take place at Christmas, but it's probably not the movie you're going to watch with the Maggies of the world when they're 5. And so they probably haven't watched it in that tradition since they probably have other traditions established. So I would think a smaller percentage and minority of people are like, yeah, it's a Christmas movie. It's kind of like the brony phenomenon. We've talked about bronies before.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with bronies. Enjoy it. Love it. Go for it. But when you have a brony conference, it's going to be much smaller than San Diego Comic-Con's conference or many other conferences that take place. It's more of a niche group. And one of the reasons that group is niche is because they like the morals, values, and tenets of the show,
My Little Pony.
Okay. Yeah. But they also like the nonconformity element. The fact that there's some attention derived or there's some... it makes them unique. They can define themselves as something that maybe they couldn't define themselves as. That's fine. If people want to watch Die Hard at Christmas, go for it. It doesn't make it a Christmas movie. If I put on a Christmas hat, it doesn't make my Christmas poop a Christmas poop. It just makes it a poop. And so I could pick any movie, and it doesn't just make it a Christmas movie because they had a Christmas hat on. Like that, and that's I guess that's my last question to you. Let's just let the people decide. So I'm gonna define once again what a Christmas movie is for me. I want you to define what it is for you. What is the 1, 2, 3? What is the element that makes a movie a Christmas movie? Is it just that it takes place at Christmas? And any movie that takes place at Christmas is a Christmas movie? Is that what is your definition?
That's what my argument would be. Is that if it takes place at Christmas, it's a Christmas movie.
Okay, so if it takes place at Christmas, it is a Christmas movie.
And there's different degrees based on that.
Okay. So something
like you can move up the mountain of Christmas movies based on other things like the themes and music and characters like you were outlining earlier.
The most Christmassy movie that you can think of. Just a rough. I mean, give a random example.
Jeez.
Just for context.
Rudolph is a great example of a Christmas
Rudolph
movie.
Would be like a 10 out of a 10 for Christmas movie.
Sure.
Where would Die Hard stand on that?
3 or 4.
Okay, and what's a 1? Like, you don't even know what that is.
Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Okay. So you kind of got. So you're saying that there are levels of Christmas movies.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think that's something we can agree on.
Yeah. For movies that are actually Christmas, not including Die Hard. Yeah, of course. I can agree upon that. Jingle All the Way starring Arnold Schwarzenegger probably isn't the height of the Christmas miracle. It's probably not. It's probably not up there. Whereas Rudolph might be at the top, or How the Grinch Stole Christmas might be at the top. John, here's the thing. I love you. You're perfect. Now change.
Here, Josh. Here's the deal. We can come together on a lot of things. I don't know if we're going to come together on this, but I forgive you, and I love you. I want to wish you a very, very Merry Christmas.
Yippee-ki-yay, John.
That just made this a Christmas episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, John is going to go watch his non-Christmas movie, Die Hard. I'm going to go take my non-Christmas poop and my Santa hat, and we're going to enjoy this holiday season. We hope you enjoy it too, and we'll see you next year on Pop Culture Problem.